Genesis chapter 3, verse 11. In the prior couple of verses, we saw that the Lord God was seeking Adam and Eve in the garden. They have run away from him, hiding in shame because they knew they were naked. And here is the Lord's response. Ke apen auto, tis anengelin soy hati gumnas me apat tu Zulu, hu in a telamen soy, tutu manu me fagen ap autu, efages. We'll get into the structure of that last little bit there. But first, let's start with the Kai Apen. So now this is the Lord speaking. Of course, Apen is from Lego, and he speaks specifically to Adam here. Notice the masculine pronoun there. And here is his first question. Tis, who? Notice it's the interrogative tis that corresponds with the question mark there at the end. And our verb is anengelin, which is from anangelo. And you'll see that we have a past time indicator right after the ana, and it just lengthens there. You have a slight spelling change where the E goes to an EI, and then you're adopting that third singular imperfect ending, but this is actually an aorist, it's an irregular aorist. So this is a third singular aorist active indicative, and that means to declare or to divulge. The underlying Hebrew is to make known or something like that. So who told you, who declared to you, Hati, that, gumnas, and that word is naked. We've seen that previously. And then we have, that's not the if word, this is the you are. This is the second singular of ame, that you are naked. Notice he's very much focusing in on Adam here with the him and then the you are naked. And then he goes on to say, me apa to Zulu. And so, not from the tree. So it's starting out in a bit of a strange way where it's putting that prepositional phrase there at the front end. So, not from the tree. We're going to skip down to the actual main verb here, which is at the end. It's ephages. And this is from estheo. We've seen this numerous times where estheo switches to fog there. And with the es ending, the epsilon on the front end, this is a second singular aorist active indicative. So if you put this together, this actually goes all the way back here. Not from the tree, have you eaten, or something along those lines. Notice it's a question mark. So that's the actual main clause. But the reason why I'm going about it in this way, because otherwise this intervening clause might be a little bit confusing. And so you have a relative pronoun now that's describing the tree. So it's not from the tree which, or from which, you could say. The next verb is inetelamen. This is from entelomai, which means to command. And you'll see an epsilon past time indicator. You see a middle ending here. This is a first singular aorist middle indicative because it's a default middle. And so from which I commanded, and then it's you once again, because remember, this is the second singular. God gave the commandment, strictly speaking, to Adam, and he was supposed to pass it along to Eve. So not from the tree, which I commanded you, tutu manu, this one alone, or only this one, something like that, is further describing this tree. Me fagen, now this is another form of estheo. This happens to be the aorist active infinitive form with that ei ending, and then from it. So the sentence structure there is a little bit odd. You could translate it rather woodenly, something like this: not from the tree, so beginning here, of which I commanded you, of this one alone, not to eat from it. Very redundant there, but that's pretty common in Hebrew. Have you eaten? And so, of course, we would want to smooth that out. You know, have you eaten from this tree that alone I told you not to eat from it, or something along those lines. So the actual meaning is pretty straightforward. The syntax is a bit odd. And so that's 3:11, but let's dial in just on something really quickly. If you remember back to 3:1, the serpent had said to the woman, remember he's picking on her here, and Adam apparently is silent or he's off stage. Did God really say, ume fagetas, and notice there's that fago, or which is that form of estheo, but he says from any or from all the trees. Whereas God had said, no, it was this one alone. I've given you all the trees other than just this one, and that's the part that Satan has distorted. God was very clear. This is a specific prohibition. It's one particular tree. Satan sows the seeds of doubt and says, well, wait a second. Did God say that you can't eat from any of the trees? And he's trying to maximize the strictness, I suppose, of the commandment that he is twisting to try to sow deception in the mind of Eve. So just good to remember that throughout this whole scene, everyone keeps messing up the specific command of God, which leads, of course, to tragic consequences.